So you've probably had those moments where you wake up, you go on your phone, you scroll through social media, and then you suddenly think to yourself, I don't like my life. You see somebody who's the same age as you, driving a nicer car, wearing nicer jewelry, wearing designer clothes, traveling constantly, then you think to yourself, what am I doing wrong? And trust me when I say you're not alone in thinking this. I used to think like this too. It's very normal. That's what social media does. It makes you feel like your life almost isn't enough. You're constantly behind, you're constantly missing out, and you start questioning everything, even yourself. And I know this feeling all too well, which is why this video is going to be so real for me. Because back when I was younger, I used to compare my clothes, what phone I had, what the background was like when I took photos, all of that. And then I'd start to see people online with perfect skin, nice watches, perfect lifestyles that I would ideally want. And then I'd think to myself, why can't my life be like them? Why can't it be so well put together? And I know I rinse and repeat the saying, but I will forever continue to say this until people finally get it. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel all the time. And that's the thing, guys. Social media is fabricated for the most part. It's not transparent. I'm transparent with my community, which I will leave a link down below in the description and in the comment section. But for the most part, it's a reality that people want you to see, a version of them that they want you to see. You're seeing their best angles, the best day, the best filters. You're not seeing their breakdowns, their debts, the problems that they go through on a day-to-day. You don't get to see any of that. There's no transparency. And sometimes that's okay because people don't really want to share, but you get the gist. And yet, despite all of this, you still scroll and feel like you're losing. It's like a never-ending competition that no one signed up for. You start comparing who has a better timeline, who has a better relationship, who's traveling more, who's making it. You start thinking, you start telling yourself that you're behind, but you're not. You're just on your own timeline. And here's what I've deduced. This is straight out of my journal. There are two types of comparison. The first one is, of course, the bad type. You scroll, you compare, and you do absolutely nothing about it. All that in which you see, you internalize it, and you choose to believe that you're not enough. You feel bad, you start overanalyzing your flaws, your pace, your journey, and it eats you alive. That is self-sabotage. And the second kind of comparison is the comparison that builds you. It's where you're curious enough to say, okay, I like what that person's doing. I feel inspired by watching them. What can I learn from them? That's building, that's self-awareness. Now that type of comparison is growth. Because when you compare comparison with resentment, you trap yourself. But when you compare it with building, when you compare it with curiosity and intention, you actually grow. I'll give you guys a basic example. When I first started creating content, I'd see other content creators' page just for a little bit of inspiration. I'd think to myself, they are miles ahead of me. I'd see their gear, their production, the way in which they speak, and think to myself, man, I've got a long way to go. And one day I just thought to myself, as I was journaling, how about I flip that mindset? Instead of asking, why not me? I asked, how can I? I started looking into the things that they were doing differently, how they presented their message, how they spoke to people, how they could capture people, how they presented themselves. I started looking into all of these things, and because I started doing this, I envied them less because I was improving, I was learning from them. And I think that this is the part that a lot of people neglect. Confidence doesn't come from comparison, it comes from competence. The more you do, the more you believe. It really is that simple. And here's the thing, if you're not going to take any action after you've compared yourself to someone or something, at least practice the art of gratitude. Gratitude is your armor against insecurity. I think it's very easy for people to look at what they don't have. The job, the money, the looks, but hardly anybody just stops to do nothing and think to themselves, damn, I've actually come a long way. People don't realize how much progress they've made. They don't give themselves enough credit because you have been too busy measuring your success against people that don't even know you and you don't know. And I know and understand that there's probably going to be a lot of resistance to this way of thinking. You might be thinking to yourself, no, those guys are really just doing better than me. They're not, they're just better at showing it than you. And that's the big difference. You're seeing everyone else's highlight reels whilst you're living your bloopers. And what you don't know is that everyone, and trust me, everyone has bloopers. And trust me, everyone has days where they doubt themselves. I have days where I doubt myself. I'm nowhere near perfect. I have loads of days where I doubt myself, but they don't post about that part. They don't show that part. They don't show their bloopers. And we all have these days. We all go through the same thing. We're all human. And I promise you, that's the only difference separating you from them. So stop comparing your reality to somebody else's presentation. Now, I wanted to touch up on this talking point because it's so true, and I know a lot of you guys go through it as well. Social media ruins confidence at its core. It rewires your brain for failure. Every like, every comment, every share, every scroll that you go through, it messes up your dopamine. Every follow is a hit of dopamine, every like is a hit of dopamine, every share is a hit of dopamine. And when either of these things stop coming, you start thinking that you're invisible when you're not. And then you start chasing validation instead of fulfillment. And man, oh man, is that a dangerous place to be. Because you start doing things for validation, you start doing things to look good online, instead of focusing on the present, focusing on what's actually going on. And when all of this starts to happen, it starts to become this obsession, and slowly but surely, you start to lose touch with yourself. And here's a story for you guys. There was a time where I was just posting content for the sake of it, that I didn't even enjoy it anymore. I think progressively in my content, you can start to see me get a little bit more confident on the mic and speak to you guys, but there was a time where I didn't really want to do this. I would take videos not for memory, but for likes. And when those likes didn't come, I'd feel a certain type of way about it, and I would delete the post. And what I found out about myself back then is that I was performing, I wasn't living. And it's so sad because so many of us do this without even realizing. We perform instead of live life. But the moment I stopped caring about online validation and real life progress, that's when things started to shift for me. I started to feel proud of my behind the scenes, like waking up early, going to the gym, reading more, talking to more people, the things that don't really get clapped for. See, I can do all of these things for the entire year and nobody will know about them, unless I choose to post that online, but that's not what it's about. Of course I do it because I'd like a bit of visibility and I'd like to help more people, I'd like to reach more people, but the things that I just mentioned, they build character. And for me, building that undeniable stack of proof that will allow you to ascertain this level of confidence that you never thought achievable to help you do the things that you want to do, the work that nobody claps for me, that's worth its weight in gold. So if you're going to take anything away from this video, let it be this. Comparison without action is self-sabotage. If you're going to compare at all, let it be fuel. If not, let it go. Because when you spend so much time watching somebody else's journey, you forget to live your own, and that neglects your God-given purpose, whatever that may be for the time that you're here. So here's my challenge to you. Delete just one social media platform for 24 hours. I know that may seem extreme to some of you, but I promise you the world is not collapsing anytime soon and you can do it. Use that time to focus on you. Go outside, spend time with family, spend time with friends, or spend time in silence and just see how much clearer your mind is. Then I want you to re-download the app, wherever it may be, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I really need to scroll through other people's lives to make mine feel like it has any amount of value? Because when you start to focus on yourself, your own progress, your own purpose, you'll realize something important, something powerful. Social media never ruined your confidence. It was just your reaction. Your reaction to all of these things did. So that means because you caused this, you also have the power to fix it. So start today, scroll less and start living more. Post less and start doing more. Confidence isn't built online, it's not. It's built through action, gratitude, and showing up for yourself every single day. But yeah, guys, that's been my take on social media ruining my confidence, and I hope there was a lot that you could take away from this video. I tried to add as much personal experience as I can, and I hope it's impacted you. So if it has, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share it with a friend who you think may need it as well. I'll leave a link below in my description to my community full of like-minded people on the self-development journey. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.